is it my turn? Because you've been, for the last half an hour, you've been busy with the spokesman for genocide and Epstein's buddy, who used to go to Rape Island with him.
I'm a lawyer.
For a person who frequented Rape Island, I think anything that he says is nonsense. And see, I listened to him, but he's a lawyer, yet he cannot tolerate the words of a layman. That's how weak his argument is.
I hate to say this, but I think I'm in 1935, and I'm sitting opposite Joseph Goebbels right now, and he's making the propaganda case for the Nazi regime, just the way this professor is making the propaganda case for the new Nazi regime, which is the regime of Iran. Will you at least admit, sir, will you at least admit that Iran murdered in cold blood as many as 50,000 innocent protesters? And would you admit, if that's true, that that comes closer to genocide than anything that Israel has been accused of doing in self-defense after its people were raped, kidnapped, murdered on October 7th? Would you at least admit that the Iranian regime has killed many, many, many thousands of people? Yes or no?
You know, we are not in 1935. We are not in 1939. We are in 1942. You are the Nazi regime that is carrying out a Holocaust in Gaza. You are the Nazi who is doing it as we speak. You're the evil monster. My regime is infinitely superior to your genocidal regime that helped the Israeli regime in the genocide. My regime, as you like to call it, your guest doesn't want me to speak, obviously. My regime did not pull the plugs on little infants in the hospital, in the premature babies in the Al-Nasser hospital. Pull the plug on those premature babies and let them die. My regime didn't do that. The regime that you support did that. But getting back to the topic, the reality is that chemical weapons were used on our country with the support of your government. I survived 2 chemical attacks. And then your guest has the audacity to say that Iran would use weapons of mass destruction. During the Iran-Iraq war, the state, the leader, refused to produce chemical weapons. Even though the military politicians asked him, he said, no, it's immoral. So we had to suffer your chemical weapons, and your governments prevented our government from even purchasing gas masks. My gas mask was bought on the black market. It was North Korean. So don't talk about weapons of mass destruction to me when my friends have died because of your chemical weapons. Your regime is the regime that has used nuclear weapons twice. And your ally, your genocidal ally, the apartheid regime, the illegitimate regime, where 44% of young Jews below the age of 35 in the United States, believe that Jews and Palestinians have to live together in one state with equal rights. That is exactly the Iranian policy. So despite your propaganda, despite your nonsense, despite the lies that you promote, people are waking up. Jews in the United States are waking up. Christians, Muslims, people from all walks of life are seeing who's carrying out a Holocaust in Gaza. You know, Ronald Reagan, when this genocidal regime in 1982 invaded Lebanon, he called it a Holocaust. This is far worse than the Holocaust of 1982. The only guilt of the Iranian people, and Hezbollah and Yemen is that they say no to genocide. That has been the guilt for 47 years. For decades, your regime has been supporting the apartheid and genocidal regime of Israel and supporting the most brutal regimes across the world in Latin America and Africa, in our region and in Asia. But Israel the only time, but your hostility is towards Iran because Iran says no to ethno-supremacism, just like 46% of young Jews in the United States. Iran says no to genocide, no to ethnic cleansing, no to colonization, and that Palestine must be a land where Jews and Christians and Muslims live as equal human beings. Your regime bombed a synagogue in Tehran. Why? Because that synagogue was not a Zionist synagogue. You hate Jews. You hate Jews that are not Zionists. You are an anti-Semite because you kill Palestinians, and you're from Eastern Europe. You have no right to slaughter and rape and murder. Right. The audience can judge for themselves. In fact, when you say Iran has no freedom of speech, your host, I've invited him to come to Iran on multiple occasions to see if there is free speech. When I tell him to read the book Going to Tehran, he gets angry because it goes against his narrative. But you speak on behalf of an ethno-supremacist regime, and you speak of free speech. Your country is run by oligarchs. You think that the people of the United States have free speech when they lose their jobs, when on campus they can't talk out against the Israeli regime and the brutality of the regime? Don't talk nonsense. People lose their jobs in your country. Their futures are destroyed when they speak truth to power.
Of course, I believe in complete equality for everybody. Now, I want to ask you the question. Do you think
in the West Bank and Gaza? In the West, so you say, don't run away from the answer. You say that the Palestinian you answer the question. You say that the Israeli regime should dismantle the system that now exists, and that all Palestinians in the land of Gaza and in the West Bank should have the right of vote and should have citizenship to this land, and they cannot be removed from their homes. You say that, right? You accept that,
yes,
right?
Of course. I think that they should be citizens of an independent state in Gaza, an independent state.
No. I didn't say that. I did not say that. Don't change the, no.
And the complete right to.
Do you accept that the people in Gaza are refugees from Palestine?
I believe in a peaceful Israel.
Answer the question. Answer the question. The people in Gaza are refugees from Palestine. They're not from Gaza. Gaza was a village 50, 60, 70 years ago. The people in the West Bank, many of them are not from the West Bank. Many people in Jordan, they're not from Jordan or Lebanon or in Syria or in Egypt. The Palestinian population that has been expelled from their homes, that have been kicked out of their homes and have been decimated for decades. You believe that within Palestine, what is now today called Israel, plus the West Bank and Gaza, that they should have equal rights and citizenship.
Let's remember how it started. 1947, the UN partition.
No. Just say yes or no. So in response to your nonsense, the nonsense about 50,000 people, those lies have been responded to by the Iranian people. Stop ranting. I'm speaking. You're a lawyer. You're a lawyer. 3,117 people died thanks to an armed insurgency that your regime and the Israeli regime funded and supported. And you're a coward. You are a coward. You won't let me talk. You're afraid. You're afraid of me talking.
Don't tell me I'm afraid.
The lawyer, Epstein's lawyer, Trump's lawyer, is afraid of me, a layman, talking. Why? Because you have no legs to stand on. The Iranian people have spoken. They went to the streets in the tens of millions. They went. You're a coward. You won't let me talk. I let you talk because I'm not afraid of you. People are not afraid of you anymore. You can kill Epstein. You can kill whoever you like, but we're not afraid. You can bomb my house. You can kill me with my family, but I'm not afraid of you. I will support the Palestinian people until your regime bombs my home. So go and tell them that. I'm prepared to die for the Palestinian people. But you who used to frequent Epstein Island, you have no principles and no morality.